In this lesson, we're going to focus on the conversation space. In particular, the top bar and the thread itself. We'll be covering how to use the composer in later lessons. So at the top, you can see the name of the customer and some other actions. A fun fact here is that Intercom will give customers randomly generated names like this one if it doesn't know who it's talking to. So this could be a lead or a visitor or an existing customer who just isn't logged in. Okay, let's look at the action buttons here. These let you prioritize, snooze, and close conversations. The star button lets you manually mark conversations as a priority, adding a star to the conversation that's visible to everyone on your team. And as we covered previously, you can easily find all priority conversations by using this sorting option. Okay, to help me explain the snooze and close actions, I'm going to open this modal here. So hitting close moves the conversation from the open list to the closed list, where it will stay unless you manually reopen it. Hitting snooze then temporarily moves the conversation from the open list to the snooze list, where after a set amount of time, or if the customer responds, it will reopen, automatically moving it back to the open inbox. Snooze essentially allows you to put conversations on hold. It's one of the key workflows that you'll use in the inbox. Hitting the snooze button presents you with a range of default options, and the ability to set your own too. Snoozing and closing are two actions you're going to be using a lot, so make sure you learn off their keyboard shortcuts to save time. It's just Z to snooze, and Command-Shift-Y to close. Oh, and one final thing about closing conversations. So, closing often causes a CSAT request like this one to be sent to the customer. This doesn't happen all the time, but it's a good idea to keep this in mind and always make sure that the conversation is fully resolved before you close it. Okay, before we finish on the top bar, these dots here give you some more options. Manage Participants lets you add and remove customers from the conversation. This one lets you start a new conversation with the same customer, which can be useful for when you want to loop in a third party, especially via email. Export Conversation then lets you download the thread as a text file, and as for conversation events, we're going to cover them next. So moving on to the conversation thread then. Questions and replies from the customer always appear on the left, while over on the right, you'll sometimes see our bot here, helping to move the conversation along. And this is where your replies will appear too. But you've also got all these bits in between. These are conversation events. They help tell the story behind the conversation and give you a bit more context. Like this event, which tells us what team this conversation was assigned to and when. We recommend keeping these events visible. But if the thread gets too busy, you can use the keyboard shortcut Command-E to hide them. Learning to manage the conversation space is pretty straightforward. But don't forget that you can use keyboard shortcuts to save time for many of the actions that we covered in this video. Feel free to come back for a refresh on these after you've gotten to grips with the space in general.